resume of what we did last night's call. As a matter of fact, we wanted to combine two of the most difficult effects to achieve in Photoshop, the glass effect and the gold effect. In order to do this, we will start with a dark background, give it some texture, add some vignette, and then do the glass effect, and then after that one, the gold effect, as you can see here in the sample. I will start by creating a new file, make it 800 by 600, give it a name, call it Genius, for example, and make it 800 by 600. 72 resolution, RGB color, background color I'm using, which is black, so just make it black and click OK. So we have a new background, as you can see. We will add some texture by placing a picture on the canvas. So we just use this metal JPEG. In order to make it fit, we just pull the corners. Doesn't need to be too precise. And we confirm the placement before pulling the opacity down to 30, about something like 30. There we go. In order to give this background a bronze or brassy or sort of a warmer look, we will just add a color overlay. So we will just use the layer style panel and select color overlay. We will use the blend mode color, of course, and then we will just change the color from the default red to something light yellowish beige. I use F9 EB DC. Here we go, and we just go OK, and we have our little background plate this way. Now we will add the vignette. In order to do that, we will add a new blank layer and use the rectangular marquee tool with a big feather. You see here up in the control panel, you see we have a feather of 200 pixels. Pretty big, and then we just select the whole picture in order to get our center spot, and then of course we need to paint in the black, and in order to do that we will just hold down the Control Shift and I key from the keyboard, and then fill this selection with black. Just select black color and click OK. We deselect all, Control D, and move over to the text tool. So let's punch in some text here. I will just type the word genius. I'm using Arial regular here at 180 points, as you can see from the top, and I'm writing in black color. So let's just type in genius, the word genius, and we will center this word genius by selecting the whole canvas, Control A, and then we're just going to center it vertically and horizontally. Now, having done this, we will now apply first the glass effect to our genius. In order to do that, we will open the layer style panel, and well, let me first deselect all and then open the layer style panel, and we will just start with a drop shadow. As usual, multiply and then keep the black color. We will go for 100% opacity here. We will move the angle to 95 degrees. 95, I just punch it in, it's faster. The distance to 12, the spread to 16, and the size also to 16. There we go. And then for the rest, we leave the noise at 0 and leave the other settings on this feature. The next thing is we're going to add an outer glow. So we'll just add an outer glow. The blend mode is going to be overlay. Don't want to have just this outline here, as you can see. The opacity is going to 100%, and the noise stays at 0. And then our color, we will just switch it from yellow to white. And click OK. Technique is softer. The spread goes to 20. And the size is 105. Here we go. You can see our picture starts changing a little bit already. And here at the bottom, we're just pushing the range up to somewhere in the low 90s. 92, 93, something around there. And the jitter to 0. The next style we're going to add is the inner glow. So we'll create an inner glow. This time we burn the color. So we're just using color burn. Opacity again 100%, the noise at 0. And we're changing a little bit this yellow color, which is a little bit too lemon-like. And we're just going to put in our F9 E698. E698. F9 E698. And click OK. Gives us a little bit of warmer tone. The technique is going to be precise. And source is the edge. Choke we leave at 0. And the size we move to 8. There we go. And then the whole rest we leave, except the range, which we push to 100. This is for the inner glow. Next thing, we will add some bevel and emboss. So we're doing an inner bevel, smooth. Leave the technique at smooth. The depth, let's put it to 125, about 123. Here we go. Let's see what we have with 125. Could be a little bit too much, maybe not. That's okay. 125 about. I'm using here 123%, and the direction is up. Size, we put it a little bit bigger, 7. And the softening is at 1 pixel. Then the shading underneath, we're changing the angle slightly and put it to 107. And we're not using global light. We're not using global light, and the altitude is at 37 degrees. There we go. That gives us already a changed image again. And now we have the gloss contour. We're just using this sort of, it's called ring double. It looks like camel. Okay, let's select that one, and you see immediately you get something shiny that sticks out. And we will highlight mode, leave it on screen, of course, but we'll change the color. Don't want to have this white highlight. So we're just going to enter the color DCC E9F. DCC E9F. Again, we stay in the tones. So here we have a warmer tone. Put that one in. And then the opacity goes to 100%. Shadow mode has to go on overlay. And the shadow, of course, remains black with an opacity at 75. Next, we're looking at the contour. And here we would just change the shape to Gaussian and anti-aliased at 50%. So you see our little shape starts looking a lot more attractive. with sort of a glass shape and reflection from the same color or similar color to what we have on the background. Now we need to continue with a color overlay over this whole thing. So we will just add a black color overlay, just push it to black. There we go. Make it black and opacity 30%, 30 about, and we use hard light. Here we go. Now we're finished with the glass effect. We have now this glass effect on our font, on the Genius, and you see that it reflects the same kind of light that we have on our background. Now this finishes the first part of this tutorial. We're going to duplicate this layer. So it's just going to be called Genius Copy. We could also call it Gold Effect, Genius Gold Effect, and click OK. We don't want to have on this layer the glass style as we had it on the previous one, so we're going to clear the layer style. We're just clearing the layer style. So right click on it and select clear layer style. Now we have now a layer that looks like the previous layer looked before we applied the glass style. Now we're going to add some styles here to this layer as well, and we will just double click on this layer in order to open our layer style panel, and there we start with the blending options. So instead of leaving it just by default, we're going to create a little customization here by just leaving the blend mode to normal, the opacity at 100%, and the fill opacity at 0. Fill opacity 0, and all the other settings we leave at default. Then the next issue is going to be the outer glow. So we're adding an outer glow here. Again, we have something that we saw before already, an outer glow which gives us a sort of an outline. We don't want that. We're going to use soft light. Soft light at an opacity of 100%. And we will change our color here for the soft light, and we're going to make it a little bit warmer. Let's see, make it a little bit warmer, and just go into something beige. Here I'm using E0DB C5. Well, a little bit different. Here it is close. DDD7C1. DDD triple D like Daniel 7C1. Use this as the color, and the other settings here. Then we are using technique is going to be softer. Spread is at 0, and the size has to move up to about 40. Let's make it 40. Make it a little bit more. 45, 50, 43. I'll make it 45. 45, and then the quality, we'll just increase the range to somewhere around 60, 65, somewhere between 60 and 65. I'll leave it at 62. Jitter at 0. And then we move on to the bevel and emboss. So bevel and emboss. Now, on bevel and emboss, we will start by changing the style to stroke emboss. Stroke emboss. Technique remains smooth, and the depth at 123%. 123%. There we go. Direction goes up. Size, let's go higher. 10, 14, 15, something into that area. 10, why don't I make it 14, and soften 2 pixels. A little bit more than we did before, right? You might remember. Then angle, we put it the shading at 90 degrees. 90 degrees you can easily achieve by holding down the shift key and just click at 12 o'clock here in the little circle. We don't want to use global light. Oh, this thing has jumped. Here we go. And we're using altitude 25 degrees. And we're using again our camel back here for the gloss contour. And then the highlight mode is going to be color dodge in white with an opacity at a little bit more, about 85. And shadow mode, we leave it at black 75. And then we have to take care of the contour. So select the contour from the left-hand menu. And here we do again the same as before. We're using the Gaussian shape. And we select anti-aliased and leave it at 50%. So now remains the last but most impressive change, and that is we're going to take care of the stroke. So for the stroke, we're first of all going to increase the size to about 5. We can play with that one, depending on the font you're using. If you have a wider font, you might want to increase the font size, the stroke size, depending on really the shapes. You can play with this one once you're finished for some fine-tuning. The position of the stroke is in the center, not outside, not inside, so center. And the blend mode is normal, opacity at 100%. And then we have the fill type. So we're going to choose the gradient. Now this is where it's really getting interesting. As you can see, we have a stroke, 5 pixels wide, with a gradient. And this gradient now has to become a gold gradient. So how we're going to do that? Well, very simply, we just open the gradient editor. By default, it's going to come in with 2-color black and white gradient. We can start from here very easily. So we have the 2 color stops at the bottom, right? The black one and the white one. And this gives us our 2 colors that we're going to use to create this gradient. We're going to need a light one and a dark one. So the light one, let's edit that one first. We're using the black color stop here by just clicking once on it, and then click on the black color swatch at the bottom, and let's change the color to C4B 797. So C4B 797 will be our light color. C4B 797. Okay. And we're going to use this color on 2 or 3 places here. In order to duplicate this stop, we just move from the stop horizontally to the right and give it a click. So that gives us a second color stop of the same color. Now we want to define the location. And here we're going to put the location, as you can see at the bottom, so location 0. We're going to put this one to 24%. Then we're going to create another one at 50%. So we just click again and select 50 or type in 50% if we're not precise. It's okay. Then we're going to take care of the dark color stop. We're going to put that into the white one here on the right side. So we're editing this white color stop that we see here. And we will just again click on the white color swatch at the bottom and punch in our dark color, which is 806, D41, D for Daniel, D41, okay, 806, D41, and we just click OK. Now here again we're going to create some additional stops in between. We're going to put one between the first 2 swatches. Again, as we have selected this color right now, we can click anywhere along the line here and place a color stop for it. So for example, I'm going to put one here at 7%. So this one here, just click it, put it at 7%. You can just change the location from the bottom. Then we're going to create another one at about 16%. So type in 16. And we're going to put one at 32%. Just make sure that it changes, that you have the right one selected here. See, mine is at 40. I'll just type in 32 at the bottom. It will automatically be set correctly. I'm going to do one at 44. 44. And I will do a last one at 57. So 57, type in 57. And now we have our kind of gradient that we want to have. It's a typical custom gradient, as you can see. And there we go, click OK. And that's it. Now, you see this whole style that we have created now. This whole style, you see, of course, our picture looks now very nice. This style you can save as a new style for your Photoshop. So you don't have to redo this over and over again. So before closing the layer style panel, just go new style, give it a name, call it gold something, gold stroke, whatever, or gold glass stroke, gold stroke. And we click OK. And you should find this now in under your styles. As you can see here, styles. When you hover over the last style that has been added, this is your gold stroke style that you've just created. Okay. So there we go, and we just click OK, and we have our little gold glass effect on Genius. So we can do a final touch to the thing. I'm just clicking the D key, and we create a new layer, which we will fill with a filter. So create new layer, we filter and go render, and use difference clouds. Could not complete command because the selected area is empty. Here we go. I will just move back 2 steps, right? New layer, layer style. This is where we finished. Okay, so I'll just take out this layer. Before we go to the layer, I hit on my keyboard the letter D like Daniel, and then I will create a new layer. And now I will fill the layer with black. So everything is black now, and then we're applying a filter. So we filter, render, difference clouds. Here we go. And we're using the blending mode overlay. Here we go. Now this is very, very light. A lot of light, a lot of spots and stains and whatever. I'll just put the opacity a little bit down to something less. I'd say about 30, 29, 30, 35, 38, 37. Looks good enough to me. And we will save our work file, save as, call it Genius PSD, and there you go. And finished we are. So here you see the final image, and I hope you will be able to use this at other occasions as well. Now, of course, you can save also the previous style that we had, the glass style. Look, if you're thinking about it, let's open the original Genius layer style panel, and save this style and call it black glass. Okay, click OK. Okay, so now we can, and you see this in the style panel here. This is the black glass one, the last one we have just created. So you can now go and do something very simple. You will see how easy it's going to be to create just a new sample. Having done the work once, you can profit from it in the future. We're just going to create a new one for the fun and test what we have been doing. I will use the background color. Well, I should use the foreground color. Well then, okay. Let me just kick in white and fill it with black. Here we go. Right, and I'll just test my effects or styles on a font. So I'll add a font and just type in my name. Here we go. Now this is black on black. It's of course brilliant, right? And we can center it. We can center it anyway. Up. Let's just go here and center it. We center something we don't see, okay? Let's apply some style here, and we're using the glass style, okay? Here we go, glass style. Now we're going to duplicate this layer, duplicate the layer, here we go, copy. We're going to take out the styles, clear layer style, just select right-click and select clear layer style, and we're going then to our layer style panel and apply the gold style, which we had saved as well. Here we go. Bingo. You have your goal, the way you wanted to have it in gold. Very, very easy from now on to do a nice gold decoration on any font. Thanks for your attention and see you tonight.